Johnny and I this week, our podcast, we're going to be talking about Noah. What can you tell me about Noah?
So Noah and the ark got every kind of animal on the ark, and then rain, and then Noah brought a dove with candy.
Welcome back to the podcast. Christian and Johnny.
And pizza.
And pizza, most importantly.
We're just jumping into it. I'm not even gonna
You really are. You're going right in. Today we're going to be talking about Noah. And Johnny he's working something out right now. The pizza we made today is a marshmallow stuffed crust, animal crackers, and mandarin orange. Kind of going for a orange creamsicle vibe. Did we hit it?
I've actually not had orange creamsicle things.
You know what? I don't even know why we're friends.
I like sweets, but I was never intrigued by the orange cream. Is it creamsicle or dreamsicle?
Creamsicle.
I swear it was been dreamsicle.
It's the orange.
Unless that's like a special one.
It's the orange popsicles with the cream filling.
This is good. Not related to this or anything. I just want to bring it up because I think it's funny. St. Patrick's Day Eve. You got yourself a Patrick? You asked your wife to be your Patrick?
No.
No? Like St. Valentine's Day? You never asked her to be your Patrick? I did it.
No, I don't want my wife to impersonate a dude. It's not my thing.
I always think of Patrick Star from SpongeBob. When there's named Patrick. I don't know anyone named Pat. Yeah, I do. I do know someone named Patrick.
It goes by Pat, though.
True. Because who would go by Patrick? What is that?
Patrick Swayze.
No, I did, I did like a joke thing like that in high school where I asked a girl to be my Patrick. We never dated. Take that how you...
What is the meaning behind that, though?
Just a joke, like be my Valentine, be my Patrick. Because it's St. Valentine's, St. Patrick's. It's just a joke.
Yeah, I did not.
It failed. We didn't date, so...
Well, in that regard, it succeeded, because now you have an upgrade.
True.
I'm sure. So, yeah, we are talking about Noah today. There are plenty of animals to go around on this pizza, which is good. It is really good.
Yeah, especially the crust. With
the marshmallow stuffed crust.
Whatever's happening.
Yeah. Before we dig into Noah, though, something came to mind on our Adam and Eve podcast after we had stopped recording.
Dude, there's so much that comes to mind, especially as I'm editing. I'm like, why didn't I say this? Why didn't I word it? Just say this. It's so much easier.
Yeah. One of the things that came to mind is the serpent. What happened to the serpent after Adam and Eve got kicked out of the garden? Did the serpent get kicked out too, or was he just left like he could just chill?
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about...
These are things that keep me up at night.
And then I was thinking about, it says like he drove man out. Like I'm like, is he like you're banished? And he's like, but when I think if you drive someone out, you're like, go on, get out of here. Like is Adam and Eve like begging and pleading, like I'm so sorry I did this.
Of course.
Like, too bad. Sorry, like you should be sorry.
Yeah, but what happened to the serpent? And
I think he died right then and there.
But if the serpent was the devil, why was he allowed in the Garden of Eden to begin with?
I have no idea. I mean, well, he originated as like an angel, so it's like, then with that.
Yeah, but he was cast out.
But we don't know I don't know when.
It was before that, before he deceived Eve.
I don't know. I really
you don't
know.
think so?
I have no idea. I don't know.
But if you had to bet like one side or the other, do you think he was cast out before he deceived Eve, or did he deceive Eve and then God was like, no, there's no way. No, he was cast out before. There's just no way.
Dude, this is good. Like I'm like, and I'm not a sweets guy, but I'm like, give me all that gooey stuff.
Can't go wrong with marshmallow. Especially stuffed the crust. That's good stuff right there. Yeah, I don't know. I would be really curious if anybody has any comments or thoughts or
there's a lot of little details that.
What happened to the serpent? Did he get to just chill in the garden and say ha ha, and he's like laughing while they're getting kicked out?
I like to think he was killed right then. It's like the curse is like, oh, you'll strike at his heel and then he'll hit your head, whatever. I think Adam was just like, okay. Done.
That's a cool thought. Like on the way out, Adam's just like
right then and there, yeah.
Hey, you get your Anyway, you don't even need the apocalypse.
But I like snakes.
Yeah. So bridging the gap between Adam and Noah. Adam and Eve had Cain and Abel. Cain was the older of the sons.
Fun, interesting point to make. It says they had relations, has a baby, names it Cain, has a baby, names it Abel. It only mentions relations once. I think they're twins.
You think they're twins?
I think they're twins. We actually mentioned that in the Jacob Esau video too.
Oh.
He said, oh, but Cain's older. I said, so is Esau.
That's true. But in the story of Jacob and Esau, it made it
And then-
clear that they both came out
Like the same time.
at the same time because they were fighting.
Well, then it also mentions another brother, Seth, after Cain and Abel are no longer hanging out. It says, and again they have relations. Makes me think this is again the second time that relations are happening. I don't know. It's just a fun little.
Hey, you
what
never
if.
know. That's cool.
Yeah.
So Cain was basically a farmer, right? And his sacrifices to God were.
How are we going to open and read the Bible?
Let's just say plant-based.
Yeah.
And Abel,
Like a shepherd.
he was like a shepherd. So he was sacrificing animals to God. Could be coincidence, I don't know, but God liked Abel's sacrifices and offerings better than Cain's.
Didn't say he didn't like Cain's.
No, he just liked Abel's better. So then Cain got jealous.
I think we're taught, it mentions like Cain gives some and Abel gives the best. So it's like, oh, if Cain would have gave the best of what he had, maybe it'd be okay. But then it's also like, dude, it's meat. How do
You think Cain tried to just
meat's better?
short God and give him like not the best of his stuff?
I don't know. Also, I'm like, dude, if they're early humans, they don't know what the heck they're doing. So they're like, oh, maybe this is okay, but it's not good enough, so it's not okay. I don't know.
Long story short, Cain's jealousy got the best of him. He takes Abel out to the field and kills him.
And do we think like he meant to kill him?
I know, that's the thing, I don't know.
He's like, hey, buddy, come on, let me talk to you. And he just like pounces on him and beats him up.
Because how would they know what killing was? Like, isn't that the first murder? It's the first murder on record. Probably the first murder ever in the history of creation. So I wonder if he knew what would happen, and I don't know. He probably couldn't have. Because how would you know?
I don't think so. Yeah.
How would you know?
He just like beats him up. He's like, come on, Abel, get up. Quit sleeping. Come on.
Hey, come on, pick up the rest of your head.
But then God comes around. Interestingly, I like to, notice that he comes in kind of like a parent, even though it's freaking murder. He's like, what'd you do, Cain? Where's Abel? And he says, I'm not my brother's keeper, something like that.
Yeah, but then he calls him out. It's like, your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground. Like that's pretty crazy to think about.
Because I do picture, like, individual, I guess, blood cells almost. Like, in the blood, like...
The midichlorians?
God. Like, yeah.
You think God was a Jedi and he could feel the Force?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Please tell me.
Midichlorians is like a force thing?
You're joking.
I thought you were talking about something in the blood. I'm just going with it. Like hemoglobin, white blood cells. Midichlorian is in the
Look me in the eye
blood?
and tell me you're...
Is midichlorian
Are you
in the
serious?
blood? Look, I know a decent amount about Star Wars. I like the...
Johnny, this is important.
What was it? SS Enterprise?
What?
I'm just kidding. See, I knew enough that would mess you up. That's Star Trek, right? I don't know about
Do
Star
not
Trek.
mix Star Trek and Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't care about Star Trek. I like Star Wars.
Midichlorians is just from Star Wars.
I don't know what it is. Something in the blood of
It's the
Jedi?
Force, yeah, it's in the blood.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, Johnny. There's so much life you still
I
don't
like
know.
Star Wars. I've seen them all. My favorites are actually, I want to say Solo and Rogue One, but I have a beef with Solo because they give Chewie subtitles. It's jacked. You can't give Chewie subtitles. After all these years, he's whatever he's saying. That's the fun part, not knowing what he's saying. And Han gives us a little bit of clues. You give him freaking subtitles. It's jacked. And then Rogue One was cool because everyone died.
Spoiler alert for people who haven't seen it.
Spoiler alert. Also, Anakin is the father.
Reeling it back in. We like to digress quite a bit, but it's all good. God punishes Cain by kicking him out of the
And
area.
And Cain is afraid of other people. Who?
Well, hold on, I had to get that pizza
Yeah,
down.
it's fine.
When God told Cain, like, you're out of here, Cain was worried. He said, like, if I go other places, then somebody might kill me. So that alludes to the fact that there are other people in the world other than just Adam and Eve and their family, which means God created
Other people.
multiple people in multiple places, but the story that we know of Adam and Eve is the one that was documented. So that's what we're following. You think there were other Garden of Edens?
Oh, I've actually had that thought. I don't think so. But it would be interesting. They all happen the same way, basically. Like
Yeah.
in some form.
Yeah,
It
there's
happens
like
similar.
There's like 20 different Garden of Edens. All
Yeah.
it's
That'd
all
be a
like,
cool
it's all
movie.
like it would be a cool movie because then you'd see like which ones play out the same way, which ones were like
It'd be a
smarter.
really cool movie if it's the Garden of Eden or something similar to it. And the ending is it zooms out, and then you see all the other Edens. That would be cool.
We should get into movie directing next.
Man. Yeah.
Hey, if there's a director out there, let's do it. Let's make it.
Too bad these podcasts are popping.
If one of our 3 viewers is a producer, well, since you and I are 2 out of the 3, then I don't know.
True.
But,
Well, I watch it before it's posted, so I don't really have a view most of the
Yeah.
time. Some of them I still do. Like I was like, hey, Amory, please watch this. I need someone to watch it.
yeah. I still can't get Serena to watch any of them.
Really?
No, I don't know. She says she just hasn't had time. Mom life.
She can listen to them at least. Spotify or Apple Podcast.
Anyway, to make Cain, I guess, feel more at ease about getting kicked out, God gives him a mark. It says God himself marked Cain so that anybody who saw him would see the mark and not kill him. Which makes me wonder, 1, how did God mark Cain?
Yeah.
2, where did God mark Cain? 3, what did the mark look like? Did it just say, do not kill me, like on his forehead?
It's got to be some kind of cool symbol.
But how would anyone else know what it
Like
meant?
an ancient symbol. Yeah, because they'd be like, don't kill? What is kill?
Yeah. Or they could think it's like a birthmark.
Yeah.
Or like
And if you just say,
a
like,
deformation.
oh, I'm going to give you a mark, and there's a mark.
So I don't know how that would prevent other people from seeing it and going, oh, darn, we can't kill this guy. I don't know.
Like a
It
Harry
doesn't-
Potter mark.
Yeah.
How did Harry Potter get a mark? Was it like
Voldemort
like
tried to kill him?
Like laser fingers, laser engraved?
Pretty much. Lightning engraved.
Yeah. Also interesting, he's like, oh, no one else should kill you just because you killed someone else. It made me think, oh, so is the death penalty bad? But actually later on, there's another thing with, it's somewhere having to do with Noah. It's like, oh, so is the death penalty actually necessary? I think it's after they get off the flood. We'll get there.
It's necessary. I'll answer that question for you. It's necessary. Anyway, Cain gets his mark, goes on his way, finds a wife, has kids. The end. Right? Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay. On to Noah.
Noah came from the line of Seth, which was the third brother.
Yeah, so Genesis 6 through 9 is the story of Noah. Actually, 5 through 9, but 5 is the genealogy. I wrote it down just for the sake of time. Adam had Seth, who had Enosh, who had Kenan, who had Mahalalel, who had Jared, who had Enoch, who had Methuselah, who had Lamech, who had Noah.
Well, yeah, so Methuselah talked about how old, like he's the oldest one that we have on
Methuselah
record.
died in the flood.
Pretty sure. Did you do the math?
I did the math,
You did the math.
and it comes out exactly.
Yes, that was when I did that. I don't remember when it was, but I was like, dude, that's wild.
Noah's grandfather, look here. Noah's grandfather died in the flood.
He could have lived to be like 1,000 years old, but it said he's gargling while his little grandson.
Yeah, it's crazy because, well, before Methuselah, Enoch.
Mm-hmm.
This was an interesting one because Enoch, it says he was 65 years old when he had Methuselah. He lived another 300 years. During those 300 years, he walked with God. And then he didn't die. It says God took him.
And he just wasn't there.
Yeah, he was there and then
Yeah.
he wasn't there.
Yeah, which I brought back a point one time when you said death is certain. I said probable. It's not 100%.
It's a fair argument given these facts, right? So Methuselah, I'll do the quick math for you. He was 187 years old when he had Lamech. And then he lived another 782 years after that. Noah was 500 years old
When he had his kids.
when he had his kids. He was 600 when he went into the ark. So Methuselah, if you take, Lamech had Noah at age 182. So Methuselah had Lamech at 187. Lamech had Noah when he was 182 years old. So Methuselah, if he lived 782 years after he gave birth to Lamech, 782 minus 182, which is how old Lamech was when he had Noah, is 600.
The math is there.
Yeah, no, it's 600.
Yeah.
500 years later, Noah had his sons on his 600th
And one-
year of his birth. The flood happened, which would be the exact year Methuselah died. The math lines up.
Do you think he died right before the flood? Or he drowned?
I think he drowned.
Or he's so old, he's like, you know what? Like, sometimes I think old people, they can, if they want to die, they can just die. You ever had that thought? Like, they're old enough, if they just wanted to, like, I'm going to go to sleep, guys. But they're like, I'm done. I'm out of here. I think some people have that ability.
I guess.
Just to leave. Like, I'm done. I no reason to hold on.
Yeah. Like, why wouldn't Grandpa just get in the ark? Was it because he was too old to procreate, so it's like not
And
even worth it?
the other grandpa died before the flood, too. Lamech.
5 years.
The father. Yeah.
Lamech died 5 years before the flood. This other scripture popped out, and it makes me think like superheroes like Thor and all that
Nimrod?
might be real.
Talk about Nimrod?
No, just
Oh,
in
the
general.
Nephilim.
Yeah, so
I totally forgot about that.
Genesis 6, verse 1 through 4, it says, sons of God saw that the daughters of man were beautiful and married any of them that they chose. God didn't want his spirit to contend with man forever, so he limited life on earth to 120 years for man.
I think it was after the flood. 120 years after the flood.
Yeah, but it says the Nephilim were on earth before and after the flood.
Correct.
And they were having children with, the beautiful women, heroes of old, men of renown. And then I looked up the definition of Nephilim.
Fallen ones?
It says the Nephilim are mysterious beings or humans in the Bible traditionally imagined as being of great size and strength, or alternatively beings of great power and authority. Origins of the Nephilim are disputed. Some, including the author of the Book of Enoch, view them as offspring of rebellious angels and humans. Others view them as descendants of Seth and Cain. A similar or identical biblical Hebrew term read as Nephilim by some scholars, or as the word fallen by others. So they were definitely kind of like, I guess, demigods, right?
It's possible. I guess, yeah.
And they were procreating with.
So who do you think these sons of God are?
I don't know, and how many were there?
I don't know. Because, there are people that think sons of God is like angels, which sons of God does reference angels like in other scripture too.
Yeah, fallen angels too,
But I think sons of God is like Adam and Adam's line, Adam's lineage. And then daughters of man is the other people that were created. But I don't know.
It was just interesting. I never picked that up before.
How have you never picked that up? That's one of the things I'd probably look up every year. Because I'm like, what?
Because when you read about Noah, you're just like, oh yeah, okay, animals, ark, flood, the end. And then when you you dig into the details a little.
But I'm also like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I've got a couple.
Yeah, you are.
So the Nephilim, it's on my mind I don't want to say often, but every now and then I'm like, some weird stuff.
Noah and his family, just his sons and his sons' wives. So there's 7 of them, total.
We don't know how many wives they have.
The Bible says 7 of them,
does?
just 7 people. Yeah, they get in the ark. It says God sealed them in. So God closed the door.
It was also after 7 days.
Yeah, it takes a while to load a ton of animals, right? I'm afraid to open my Bible and get the direct reference.
You already got jalapenos in it, so you're good.
I'm covered in marshmallow now.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about Noah?
So Noah and the ark got every kind of animal on the ark, and then it rained, and then Noah brought a dove with candy, and then God sent the sea down deep, and then Noah landed on a rock, and all the animals come off.
The dove had candy?
Noah, I don't know what's it called. An ivy leaf?
An olive branch.
Oh,
Very good.
yeah.
So God closed them in. It says the springs of the deep came up from the ground. The floodgates of heaven opened up, and it rained. Which
I mentioned
goes back. Yeah, you did mention the other podcast that could
there's
be
3 sources of water.
like when God created the world and there was he split the waters with the sky. There was actually water above and below the sky, and then when the flood happened, he just pulled the drain plug.
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
So I guess I do want to go back just a little bit about, it talks about there's nothing but evil all the time in people's thoughts. And people nowadays, I don't remember if we had this conversation. We're like, or have we surpassed that? I was like, I don't think we do.
I don't know if we had that conversation, but yeah, the reason God wanted to flood the earth was because mankind had become so violent, he was done with it.
Yeah.
So
It said all their thoughts were evil all the time.
Compared to now, do you think?
I don't think people are all evil all the time.
So you don't think we're as violent, or?
I think evil is a lot more accessible.
Yeah, but do you think we're
And
at
we
that
have
same
media.
level compared to that?
I don't think so.
So back then was worse than it is right now.
I think so.
Good, because I don't want to.
I don't want to suffer the next fate. So it also mentions God has regret. You have any thoughts on God having regret? And and do you have regret yourself?
Personally?
Yeah.
You
You don't have any regrets. So that's a weird thought to me. So I hear people are like, oh, no regrets. There's no regrets. I got here. The way I got here is who I am today. Dude, I've got so many regrets. There's so many things I wish I didn't do. Yeah, I'm who I am today. I love who I am. Love who I am too much. But, dude, I got some regrets.
I mean, I made bad choices, but I don't really remember them to have regret anymore. Like, maybe if I remembered them, I might regret it. But like, by the next day I wake up, I'm over
forgiven
it.
yourself. And I just have to forgive myself.
If you can't forgive yourself, then how can anyone else forgive you?
Wow. Dang. I thought this was a funny podcast. A little bit of both up in here.
If you have a lot of regrets, Johnny, then I think you just need to give yourself a little grace.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Things are good. I'm fine.
But I still wish I didn't do it. Like, still regret it.
Yeah, obviously, like, you don't want to make dumb choices, but we do and we move on.
Yeah.
So no, like, because living life with regret is a waste of time because there's nothing you can do about it.
You could,
It's done. What's done is done. I mean, you can
try to make amends.
You can learn from it. Mm-hmm. You should learn from it. Mm-hmm. Make good choices moving forward and press on. But if you dwell on it, you're just wasting your time and effort and messing with your joy. Like, you won't have it.
I'm with you.
One of the things I wanted to ask you was, I didn't see it in the Bible, but does it say what Noah did before God chose him?
I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Like, I know afterwards he's a farmer.
Yeah, it says he was a man of the soil, right? So
Yeah.
he was making vineyards and getting drunk.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Like, was he an expert carpenter?
What else is there to do after the world is gone and it's just you and your family and wine?
Disc golf?
Oh, that's a good point, though. Yeah, was he a good carpenter?
Because, like, God's just like, okay, go ahead and build this ark.
I'm sure.
One, like...
He's got 500 years of life behind him, though.
He's lived 500 years, yeah. I mean, you could probably learn a lot in
Probably
that time
built
frame.
the boat before.
But when we were talking about how, like, how much of a perfectionist God was, like, he gave Noah the measurements, which I pre-did the math because it's in cubits.
I just want to know why there wasn't a pool on this boat. I wore my cruise attire. This is what I would wear on a cruise.
There probably was a pool.
What kind of pool?
Definitely a pool of urine from all the animals. So,
I don't know. Yeah.
That's no good. What do you think happened to all their poop?
They put it in a bag.
They put it in a bag?
Yeah.
What kind of bag?
Blue bag, and then they throw it in the water.
Because they were on that freaking thing for a long time.
It was a long time. And we're going to get to
Did
that
you do that
after.
math? I was about to, and I'm like, that's a lot.
They were on. It flooded.
It was like a whole year.
It was a year and 10 days.
God.
All right, spoiler alert.
Sorry.
All right, I can break it down later, but it's a year and 10 days from start to finish. Thanks, Johnny. You just had to force me there.
I'm sorry.
God tells Noah to build this ark. He gives him measurements, height, length, width. And doing the math, it's 300 cubits by 50 cubits by 30 cubits. And a cubit...
Is that a video game?
No.
That orange guy that's hopping around trying to get away from a snake?
That's Cubert, man. Now everyone's going to think there's Cubert
glad you
running
know.
around the ark.
I was just testing your knowledge this time.
Come on, man. I know Cubert. Like, when I looked up, like, how long a cubit is, it depends on...
The person.
Well, no, not the person, but, like, there are...
It's like an arm's length.
It's the measurement between your elbow to the tip of your middle finger, right? Which they say is roughly 18 inches. 17 and a half, 18 inches. The Hebrews and the Egyptians and all, like, depending on what country you were in, they were all a little bit different. Some were 17, some were 17 and a half, some were 18, some were 20.
That's on the person.
So from the elbow to the tip of your middle finger, 18 inches. So doing that math, the ark was 450 feet long, which is a good par 4.
Mm-hmm. I think it's funny you did the math. My Bible did the math for me.
Well, mine did too, but I didn't realize it until I actually did it. So I'm doing all the math, and then I open up my Bible to read, and the NIV actually has it in feet. How tall do you think the ark was?
Like this big.
How big do you think the ark had to be to fit all of those animals?
Really big.
Really big?
Mm-hmm.
Like, give me a number. How many feet?
10.
10? At least 10 feet.
Ooh, 25.
25? Yeah, let's go big. But it's 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high. So 4.5 stories high. 450 feet long.
It's pretty big.
Like, I pictured the ark like a cruise ship.
Is it? It's not as big as a cruise ship, is it? Or is it as big as a cruise ship? Depends on the cruise ship.
I think it was bigger than a cruise ship.
Because cruise ships have a lot of stories. If you just said 4 stories high.
It's 45 feet, and a story is typically 10 feet.
Dude, cruise ships have like a lot.
Cruise ships are pretty high, but like length.
But there's like a base.
Well, you have the engine room and all that stuff, but that doesn't even really matter because space is space. Mm-hmm. And there was no engine on this one. So.
The deck. There's like a deck, and then there's other stuff above the deck. So if you just did the deck.
Yeah, they have the stacks and all that stuff, and the bars and jacuzzis and
the good stuff.
The lawn chairs and the outdoor pool in the middle of the ocean.
I'm gonna go back. Dude, it's so fun and nice.
So a cruise ship, 450 feet long, the Ark. I'm trying to imagine like the cruise ship I was on. I don't think it was 450 feet. I think I could probably reach.
Probably about 450 feet.
You think so?
At least the one I was on.
So it's the size of a cruise ship?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. That's just kind of.
Just look it up.
Kind of strange. Look up what? How
cruise
big
ship.
a cruise ship?
Yeah, an
Say,
average.
what are the
ship.
average dimensions of a cruise ship? It was supposed to be 3 floors on the Ark.
Around 1,000 feet in length and 200 feet in width.
What? Seriously?
But cruise ships are huge, dude.
Twice as big as the Ark and more than 2 times as wide.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They're huge. They're huge.
Yeah, and they're still not big enough for people.
There's a lot of people. They cram some of these.
Yeah, do you think there were more people on a cruise ship than there are animals on the planet? If you take 2 of every animal on Earth.
Plus some extra.
Plus some extra.
For food and offerings.
The clean ones, you had to take 7 of each.
Yeah.
Which leaves one outlier that's going to get sacrificed. Or grilled during the cruise. Do you think Noah envisioned it like a cruise? Like, do you think he was just chilling out?
So one thing I was thinking of is how much light is on the inside there. If they're shut in, like it's got to be dark in there.
There's windows.
Is there?
It wasn't a submarine. It was an Ark.
Is there windows?
Yes.
If there's like crazy waters all over the place, there's no openings.
There wasn't crazy waters. It was just rain.
It talks about like surging waters.
Rain. As the waters surged, it just
You
floated. It's not a submarine. It wasn't going through like rapids.
Yeah, I don't think it was. But I think
Dude, I looked on the map, like from where they assumed the Ark was built, which is still in Turkey, but it was south of Mount Ararat where it landed. It was like 750 miles difference from where it was assumed to be built.
how far is that?
To where it landed. How far is 750 miles?
How far is New York from here?
New York is like a 11-hour drive, about 660 miles.
It's close.
So yeah, like
That's a distance.
from South Carolina to Connecticut, I would say. I still don't know why it would just. Well, I don't want to get to that yet. It had windows.
I don't know.
Higher up, they had windows.
In the instructions,
the
it doesn't
roof had an
say.
18-inch opening as well.
Yeah, you think it's open while it's raining for 40 days
Yes,
straight?
because
For 40 days straight, you think it's
it's a
open?
roof with just an 18-foot window all around. That's how I envision it.
That's not how I envisioned it. Because he with the dove, he like comes out and like opens it.
He opens a window.
Yeah.
He opens a window. See, so you already knew it had a window.
It had an opening.
An opening, if it's not a door, is a window. And since there was only one door and God closed it, it's a window.
But I definitely don't think it was like a cruise at all.
No, I mean, what did you think? What do you think life was
And
like?
it's just your family?
So
For a year?
for a year and 10 days, you and your
gosh,
family are on this cruise. You think they slept on the top floor? Like, I always picture, because there was 3 floors. And you have all the animals. Then you have to have all the food, because God told them to store up every kind of food.
Like which animals
For
are on
them
different
and-
floors so they didn't like always have a racket and want to eat each other?
That's what I'm saying. Like, how did they keep them off?
Did they want to eat each other back then? Was it different? It could be different. When they get off
Animals are animals, dude.
when they get off the ark, part of the blessings or whatever, and whatever part of the things God says is that animals are gonna have fear of humans now. It's like before then at least they didn't fear humans. Maybe they feared each other. I don't know, but that was pretty interesting.
Animals ate each other back then. That's how they survived.
Probably.
Definitely.
Some animals will eat you.
Which animals would you be worried about?
Lions, tigers, and gorillas.
Gorillas? Do you think all the animals got along? How would they separate them? You think they put like the predators, like the alphas on one floor and then all the prey on another? Do you think they separated predator and prey like on different floors?
I don't know. Because predators and predators would still want to eat each other. So what's it matter?
Not necessarily. Some might get along. I wonder if like some of the animals actually did kill and eat each other and then we just don't even know they existed because they didn't make it. Or do you think any animals like annoyed Noah? Like, do you think
funny.
any
For a whole year, probably.
like a I don't know, like
time to feed.
Like a spider monkey. Just
Hey, Ham, go feed these guys. Oh, no, really? Come on, can't. But the other named guy go.
Do you think like
That monkey always makes fun of me.
Yeah, like, what if one of them like really annoyed Noah?
It's possible.
And then he just tossed him out the window.
I think it's also funny to talk
this
about.
monkey just keeps like screeching, so he's just out the window.
It mentions killing when he's going to kill off the whole world. You know, it's mankind, but also it talks about animals on the land and all the birds. Like it's like obviously sea creatures can keep swimming, but it's like why are they so special?
Well, Noah didn't have fish tanks on the ark.
Yeah.
So how would he keep all of the sea creatures?
But you couldn't have like lightning
creatures?
at the same time, like a flood and then lightning. Go ahead and kill the sea creatures too. Build 2 arks. One, leave it open. I'm gonna fill it with water. But no, I think those sea creatures are special.
Do you think the water creatures?
And
died
Adam
or no?
doesn't get to name the sea creatures.
He didn't get to name them.
That's like, are they special
think they
or are they
died?
unspecial?
Do you think they died?
No.
I mean, God in one verse he says
He does say all creatures.
He
later.
says the land and the birds, land creatures and the birds. Then in another verse he says all creatures that he created that have the breath of life.
Yeah. Do they have the breath of life?
Exactly. Do sea creatures have the breath of life?
And do dolphins count? And whales.
If they jump over
and the platypus.
If they surface, they're dead.
Yeah.
Because then they become
But if they
become an
don't
animal of the
surface,
air. They're good.
they're dead. You got to breathe.
So that's a predicament.
That sucks.
What if there was
Yeah,
what if there was a little air pocket they made at the bottom of the ark for those animals? So they could just
for
they had like a
whales and
little bit
dolphin.
of a gap in the floor where you could
That would be kind of cool. No, I don't think any of them died because
You don't think any of them died?
maybe
Well,
a
because
couple.
then God would have had to recreate them all.
Yeah, that's nothing.
I know, but
But he does. I don't think he does recreate them all because he's like just like, hey, the animals that come off the thing. I think part of the blessing. Part of the thing is like you guys go reproduce. Also, animals are gonna go repopulate themselves.
but I picture the top floor being where they like ate and slept and hung out.
The bottom floor is like the gross floor.
The bottom floor would be, I would say, probably where the animals were. Because they're going to poop, they're going to pee, it's going to smell. Like
So are the humans.
they probably go to the bottom floor to do that. You think they picked up all the poop and put it in a blue bag and then tossed it overboard? Do you think that's what fertilized all the plants once the water receded?
No. Because poop doesn't grow plants. It'll be a poopy plant.
That would be a stinky plant, huh?
Yeah, if you smell it. Blah, I don't want to eat that poop stick.
Well, peeing, they can just open a window.
What about the wives? I mean, I guess
I don't know, sit on the windowsill. Maybe that's what they did.
just
maybe
hold
they
on.
maybe they just sat on the windowsill and they never actually went to the bathroom.
You can train a couple animals too to do that. I'm sure. Also,
Do you think he trained any animals like to be entertainment?
maybe
Like a
or
circus?
into some fashion? Because he's 500 years old, and before this, animals aren't scared of
600.
humans. Yeah, animals aren't afraid of humans, so they could be like super playful and into each other.
Do you think they had any circus acts?
No, that would be funny.
If I was stuck on a ship or on an ark with every animal on Earth for a year and 10 days,
Yeah.
bro, I'd make Barnum and Bailey look like nothing. I'd
You
have
think
the
a
animals
year?
doing-
You could train animals in a year?
I would train them all.
There's no way. Like that's a long time, but that's not enough time.
I don't know. I mean, what else do you have to do though? It's all day, every day for a year and 10 days.
There's a lot of animals.
A lot of time. And you're
That's not enough time.
locked in a space.
For
And
all
they're
those.
not afraid, so like you can just kind of maybe
Yeah, you got a point.
you can just talk them into it.
You got a point.
It's crazy to picture every animal on Earth in a ship that's not even the size of a cruise ship. Like, I can't even picture every animal on a cruise ship, even if they had their own staterooms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that would be the ideal.
Yeah.
If, like, you had animals and they all had their own little private quarters and keep them isolated. You just
Does it talk
walk the
about
hallways
how,
and feed them.
I know it talks about like keeping when they leave, they come out and enter by their kinds. Is kinds there like the separate like okay 2 is one kind, or is like hey all this the cattle and livestock type is a kind? Like are they all together? Like you have cow, sheep, pig in a room together, or are they all? I don't know.
I would say by their classification. You mean?
Yeah.
It would have to be. But, like, they're not going to fight each other. They're just going to chill. So you can put them all in one spot.
Yeah.
You not have to worry about it.
How many snakes were on there?
All
you
of
can't
them.
lock up a snake.
Not without cages. I mean, they weren't going to build cages for everything.
Yeah.
But one of the other things that gets me is, what about the different climates and environments that animals have to live in? Some animals require hot. Some require cold. Some require humid. How did they get the HVAC system in the Ark?
Never thought of that.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, because if you have every animal on Earth, I don't know, are the hyenas with the snow leopards?
I'm sure they'd be
that
fine.
African
Snow leopard would be fine.
heat versus the...
They'd be fine.
Yeah,
But there are other animals that I can't
what
think
about a
of.
polar bear?
Yeah, that popped in my head too. I think they'd be fine too. But there are other specific animals that like they have to be in this. Like you have to get a freaking heat lamp, or this lizard's gonna die.
What if they put the ones that required the heat on the top floor closest to the sun, and the ones that required cold down in the bottom, and God just happened to make the water cold to kind of keep it
Yeah.
a cooler environment? You think you worked that out?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
I think that makes a little sense. Yeah. Because it would be a little cooler.
Because you're going to have different climates for everything.
Is there different climates in this day and age? Actually, now that I think about it. And when they get off, he mentions keeping things consistent with seasons.
You don't think seasons...
So seasons might not have been the same.
Seasons existed before.
I think, no, now that I think about it, there's actually like theories about the firmament having the climate be special.
Firmament again?
Yes. There's theories about the environment was like just better and like a nicer, richer way to live than what we have now. I think the ozone layer is the firmament and it's just depleted. That's a fun thought, actually.
It is.
Like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, you and your firmament.
That is a real theory people have.
I'm sure it is. There's
And
probably...
so the environment at this time, pre-flood, is better than what it is now and what it is after the flood.
I don't know. Because after the flood, God gave us animals to eat instead of just plants. So I think...
Because the plants were nutritious enough for us, because the environment was good enough for us.
I think it's because once you destroy something, you want to start over with something bigger and better. And eating animals is way better than eating plants. That's my theory.
It makes a lot of sense to me now.
Do you think Noah had animals do any of the work on the ark?
What other work is there to do? Clean?
Yeah, like...
What else?
There's got to be a right animal for the job.
No.
There had to be animals that he
clean?
used to clean.
Then what are they going to do the rest of the day if animals are cleaning?
Not clean?
I'd rather clean.
You think so?
Dude, yeah.
You
A
think
whole
you go
year of
crazy?
doing nothing? Yeah.
What do you think life was like inside the ark with all the animals?
It's kind of boring.
I'd already be crazy cleaning, but yeah.
You think they had a deck of cards? Like, they probably made something. They had to have made some sort of games or entertainment on the ark.
Yeah.
Genesis chapter 8, verse 1, I thought was funny because it says, God remembered Noah and all the animals on the ark and then decided to send a wind
he does
to receive the water. So
If you want to think real funny about it,
I think God forgot about him. He flooded the earth and then was like, talking to his buddies in heaven. He's like, yeah, there was something I was supposed to do. I can't remember what it was.
He talks to Noah that we know of before the flood. Flood happens. We don't know if God still talks to Noah during the flood.
He probably doesn't because he forgot about him. Read chapter 8, verse 1. But God remembered Noah and all the animals he put in the ark. Why would you have to remember something if you didn't forget it? Think about that.
It's funny.
Segue to the end of the flood. We'll get to it, but God creates a rainbow to remind him not to do it again. I'm thinking like God's really busy and some things might fall off the radar. I don't know. But he does things so that he remembers.
But it's a different.
How is it?
Remembering
it's not
is
a different context.
Like when you think back and you remember a late loved one. It's not like, oh, I remember them. It's like an honor. Like you're honoring them in remembrance. Like you have this.
I get
memory
from that
monument.
perspective.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I think that's what it is.
I think
so. The rainbow to remember is like a monument to honor.
To honor not flooding the earth again.
Yep.
I don't know.
To honor the covenant.
If it was like to honor the earth he destroyed, maybe as like a memorial. To say like, oh yeah, then God remembered Noah and all the animals in the ark and sent a wind to recede the water. So he was just like, oh yeah, darn it,
yeah, where do you think
they're
that water
still in
went?
the ark. That's why they were there so long.
Where do you think that water went?
Back into the depths of the earth, and then probably hit the volcanic lava and.
So you don't think it's a flat earth and it just swooshed it out in space?
It just he tilted the earth and it just kind of poured back.
Yeah, a little bit more. A little bit more. Oh, too much.
I mean, it took. I have the numbers. Like, so the rain started on the 17th day of the second month.
So months?
February 17th.
I think months were different back then too. I think there's more than 12
I don't know, but
months.
it lines up.
Okay.
So check this out.
Cool.
It says the flood started, like Noah went into the ark, the rains and all the floods started the 17th day of the second month. So February 17th.
Okay.
Bear with me, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then the ark came to rest on Mount Ararat the 17th of the 7th month. So July 17th. So February 17th to July 17th.
5 months.
It's exactly 5 months or 150 days. And the Bible says 150 days. Now, if you do the math between February 17th and July 17th, some months have 31 days, some have 30. February has 28. It's exactly to the day 150 days. That's why I was like, oh yeah, it's probably a different Mayan calendar or something.
It definitely was a different calendar.
It coincidentally lines up exactly with ours today, though.
Yeah.
So
their months are probably like all 28 days. There's like,
well, the
was
math
it 13
wouldn't work
months? It might have.
Not
Well, I guess not. I guess not.
No.
It'd be like 2 days each month missing.
So on July 17th, it came to rest on Mount Ararat.
Every month probably
and then
had 30
they sat
days.
there.
Every month's probably at 30 days.
And then it says October 1st, the mountaintops became visible. So they were sitting like stuck on the top of this mountain
And all the
from
animals
July
like, let
17th
me
to
out.
October 1st. That's August, September, like 2.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Then the earth didn't dry out until New Year's Day. It says the first day of the first month. Noah he took the cover off the ark, saw that the earth was dry. Then they were still there for another 2 months.
Like you think it was like still like a muddy mess? Just a massive
It had to be.
muddy mess?
I mean, imagine...
Like, dude, if we step on that, we're sinking down 20 feet in mud.
Yeah.
20 feet might be an exaggeration.
It was probably pretty swampy.
Yeah. Got
So like you're not taking the animals off that, and then they're going to... Yeah. Everything's going to be like Artax.
The only, like, giraffe is alive.
Yeah.
That's it.
You wouldn't get that reference either.
You made a reference of a weird name.
Artax?
Never heard it.
It's like a 80s child trauma.
90s.
You know who Artax is, you people that know.
People that know.
Who
Yeah.
doesn't know? Who doesn't know? It'll get you, though. It'll catch you in the feels. It says, by the first day of the first month of Noah's...
Sounds like a dog name. Artax.
It's a horse. It's a horse that gets stuck in the mud and then sinks down and disappears and is no more.
Should have been a dog.
It was very sad because they didn't really even need to do that. It was unnecessary, and that horse was awesome.
Awesome name.
Don't spool me up.
Awesome
My heart
name.
rate's coming up again. The first day of the first month, January 1st, New Year's Day, of Noah's 601st year on the earth was dry. Then the 27th day of the second month, so February 27th, the earth was completely dry, and that's when God said, okay, you can leave the ark. So from February 17th to February 27th the following year, 1 year, 10 days.
That's insane. If you didn't go insane already, then you have to wait, what you said, a month? When you can see the land, but you can't go on it?
Yeah.
After you've been sitting there for 5 months?
2.5
or more?
months. Actually, 2.5 months. Because January 1st to February 27th.
Yeah,
Almost 2 months.
I am not built
That's
like Noah.
torture.
Yeah.
But at that point in time, there was no rain. So, I mean, maybe they turned the top of the ark into like the sun deck, and they were just kind of hanging out, catching some sun, enjoying the air.
Not if the
You have to do something to stay sane.
Not if the environment's changed now. Like, this is harsh. This sucks.
I mean, I'm sure it was like lush and beautiful though, because everything was fresh
Like
and
wet.
green and like I'm sure it was really nice.
Or muddy and brown.
It was at first, for sure. Yeah, even after he like landed on Mount Ararat, it was 7 months and 10 days on the ark still before he left.
That's no.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have been me. Methuselah should have been on here. It should have been me.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess he was
That had
evil
to be
too,
weird.
though.
He could have been. Then after they left the ark, Noah grabbed some of the clean animals, sacrificed them to God. God smelled the aroma and said, "Whew, that barbecue smells good. That's good, Clark. You guys can eat animals now. I'm going to give you all the animals to eat.
Was that another reference,
Forget
Clark?
the plants." I'm going to need another co-host. I'm taking auditions for another
Like
co-host.
Lewis and Clark? Is that how far back we're going? Clark Kent? I don't know any other Clarks. I think that's the only two Clarks that I know. Lewis and Clark and Clark Kent.
Have you never seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
I think I have, but I don't remember it at all. I probably just saw bits of it. Like if it's on TV and I see a little bit commercial.
We're going to have to make a list of all the things in life that
too
you
much.
need to catch up on.
It's
It's a pretty
But
significant
I've
list.
seen a lot also that you haven't seen. None of it's worth seeing, but I've seen a lot.
So you're just focusing your efforts in the wrong direction. That's
Yeah.
it. Okay. Yeah. Well, at least we know that. That's chapter 8. That's kind of after the rains and everything stopped. Time on the ark, landing, and then getting off, sacrificing. Now we can eat animals, which is better, bigger, braver new world.
Mm-hmm.
What did you have? Something about seasons.
I already forgot.
How'd you forget?
Isn't that the crazy thing? We can read the Bible and over, and it's like we can't remember this crap.
Dude, the can is sticking to my fingers because of the marshmallow. Like, I want to eat more, but I'm trying to save some for Anne Marie.
So
You're welcome.
I will never curse the ground because of man, for the intention of a man's heart is evil from his youth. He's just like accepting it, like man's just evil. Neither will I ever again strike down every living creature as I have done. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease.
Yeah, so
Did it cease?
Seasons will continue.
What's the point of saying that? Did the season stop?
They did when the whole earth was underwater.
It wasn't
How can
summer
you have
anymore?
a season when there's nothing but water?
Oh, it's still summer. It's all year. You don't think it was cold? You don't think it got cold? If you're in Maine and it floods in the summer and you don't think it gets cold in January?
But they're in Turkey. I don't know what the weather is in Turkey.
It's probably hot most of the time.
I don't think they get snow.
They already don't have
Maybe
seasons.
maybe they do. Maybe they have mountains. Well, they obviously have mountains.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have mountains, so
Yeah.
maybe they do get snow. But
I think it's just a weird thing to say.
it's harvest. Obviously, you're not harvesting anything, right? Do you think they fished? Think they like toss a line over the ark?
I don't think there's like an opening for them to have those. There could be some opening.
There are openings in the ark,
I don't
dude.
think
There
it's-
are windows. There's hatches.
There might be an opening at the top.
The only
But I think
opening
that's
you're
it.
you're
I'm thinking there's only an
you're
opening
getting
up
wrapped
top.
up with is a door on the side, which God told him to put on the side so that the animals could go in, and then he closed it up.
He sealed it up.
The whole top has an 18-inch sunroof.
Oh, remember you were talking about like you think you asked the question. You think God was still like walking around after they were banished from the garden? What if he was still walking around and he's like he seals them up, so he closes the door. It's like, all right, see you, Noah.
And then what?
There's people around him, and then the flood happens, and it's like, what does he do? I don't know.
Well, you mentioned people around him.
Just like viewing that.
Did you ever hear when people told you the story of Noah, or you read it in like a kid's book? It says like people were there mocking him and making fun of him and everything.
Yeah.
I didn't see that once in the Bible. Is that like told in a different? I mean, I've read the whole Bible cover to cover, and I don't remember that ever being in there. But in children's books and stuff, it was like, even in the movie with.
I didn't watch the movie.
Of course, you didn't watch the movie. Even in the movie with Russell Crowe, people are like making fun of him, saying, "Oh, you're waiting for rain. It's not going to rain."
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's not. It's not in the story of Noah in Genesis.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty interesting because every story when I was a kid that was told about Noah always talked about people mocking him. Even you probably haven't seen it, Evan Almighty.
Oh, I did. I don't remember it because it wasn't as good as Bruce.
Bruce Almighty was awesome.
Yeah, so I don't
It's a
remember.
great movie. But Evan Almighty,
But I looked it
even in
up.
that movie, they made fun of him.
Yeah, I looked it up. It also says, like, people assume, but it doesn't say it.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
There had to have been people making fun of him. And it didn't say how long it took. I could have sworn...
Well, how close did people live in proximity to each other? You have, like, 700 acres of land, because what is land? Where's boundaries back then?
I have no idea, but there were other people. There had to be.
But they
Well,
might
maybe
not. They
not.
might not even know he's been building if they're not close enough.
Could have been... No, I was going to say family members. The family members were on
They're
it.
just doing their own thing, and they just see like a line of animals coming by. Like, what is happening?
Yeah. What are
Like,
these-
wait, get back here! It's like someone's personal cow.
Yes.
No, get back here!
It didn't say how long it took him to build the ark, but I have it in my head it was 100 years, and I don't know where I got that from.
You're just thinking it mentions he has kids at 500, and at 600 he's in the flood. So that's 100 years.
Yeah, maybe that's where I got it from.
Yeah, I don't think it does say.
Thanks for reading my mind.
Look, Jesus is a podcast
Oh.
too.
Then in chapter 9, like verse 12 to 17, God creates a rainbow and promises never to destroy the earth again, and then says, I created this rainbow as a reminder to me, so when I see it, I'll remember that despite how stupid and violent people are, I won't destroy the earth with water again. So that is the purpose and significance of a rainbow.
And right before it mentions the oh, now you can eat animals, as long as it doesn't have blood in it.
Yeah.
And then he says, whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed, for God made man in his own image. And I think, at least in the context, or at least the one, my version, it sounds like it's even talking about animals. If they kill man, it's like, put it down, is what it seemed like. So then I'm like, oh, death penalties, I guess is okay.
Told you it was good.
Yeah.
Then, after everybody kind of settles in, Noah plants a vineyard. Then he harvests grapes, makes wine, and gets...
How do you make wine?
Step on a bunch of grapes and...
Like, you just, like, seal it up and wait? There's, like, other special, like...
I don't know. It has to ferment, so I crush the grapes and you take the juice and then you do something with it.
Grape juice is good, though.
But it worked because Noah got hammered drunk, passed out naked in his tent. To each their own, right? He's in his own tent. He can do whatever he wants. But
Apparently. He doesn't get in trouble for it.
Ham somehow goes into his tent, maybe to ask his dad a question or something.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Dad, can me and the guys go fishing? So he sees Noah naked, then goes out and tells his brothers, Shem and Japheth. They go into the tent backwards, so they don't see him, and then they cover their dad with a blanket. Then when Noah finds out that Ham saw him naked, he curses Ham's son instead of cursing Ham.
Yeah. But even then, I'm like...
Who cares? Why is it even a
like,
problem?
Noah, curse yourself. What are you talking about? You're the one naked. Ham isn't naked. You're the one sitting there naked.
That's true.
Why are you...
But he was in his tent. That's his own. It's like being in your bedroom.
Yeah.
If you're in your own private room,
You can be naked.
you can be naked. You can do whatever you want. Why was Ham going into the tent to begin with? Doesn't say.
I mean, it was probably like 1 o'clock the next day, and he still passed out.
Maybe he's just going to ask him like,
checking.
"Hey, you coming to breakfast?" Oh, I don't know why it was such a big deal though. Like, okay,
And did the brother snitch on him, or did Ham just have like this look where you could tell, like, did you see something you were supposed to see?
I'll never look at you the same again, Dad. That I can't tell you, but I thought it was kind of whack that
Just
that
because
he
he
cursed
saw
his
him
son
naked.
because
Yeah.
his son was like, "Hey, I had nothing to do with it. Like, why are you cursing me?"
Yeah, and then he blesses the other one, or
He blesses Shem and Japheth and their sons,
yeah,
and then the story ends.
yep.
And then it gets into
He lives 350 years after the flood and dies at 950 years old. I wonder how good, like it says he was righteous, at least among the people. Like, it's like he's just a little bit righteous? Or is he super good?
What do you mean?
Like, how on the scale of righteousness, where is Noah?
Is there a scale of righteousness? You're either righteous or you're not.
On the, he's not perfect. He goes and gets drunk and naked.
I don't think that was like a bad thing back then.
I guess maybe not.
It wasn't like he
at
was.
some point
It
it's
wasn't.
bad.
He wasn't publicly intoxicated. He wasn't
Yeah.
driving. He wasn't fighting or doing anything wrong. He drank too much because what he made was awesome.
So what? If he was in his own tent, why did the brothers even come cover him up? Just leave him in the tent.
There's so many questions around it.
Just leave him in the tent.
He's already in his bedroom.
Leave him.
Maybe he was cold.
Who cares? He doesn't know. At least not yet.
That's the weird thing is he made wine that was good. He drank it because it was good.
Yeah.
He drank a little too much, went to his room,
Took his clothes off.
took his clothes off. He was probably burning up because the circulation gets...
Oxygen or alcohol makes you hot.
Yeah, gets going.
Yeah.
Took his clothes off and then fell asleep in his own private room. End of story. Like, there shouldn't even be one of the sons peeping on him. There shouldn't be two of the sons trying to cover him up. There shouldn't be, you saw me naked, so I'm going to curse your son. Like, none of that makes any sense to me.
No, none of it makes sense to me at all, yeah.
Because
I know later
that's
on.
how Noah's story ends?
Yeah.
That's
950 years.
so sad, bro.
950 years, and all we know is God talked to him to make an ark. He made an ark. He got drunk, and he was naked. And then he died at 950 years old. That's all we know of Noah.
In a nutshell, that is Noah.
950 years, and that's all we know.
You just reminded me. So Enoch, for 300 years, he walked with God. Then God...
I think it was like 365.
Well, he was 65 when he had his son, and then for 300 years after that, he walked with God. And then he died at 365. Or he was taken.
He did not die.
He did not die. Let me correct myself. He was taken up by God. It says Noah walked with God.
Yeah.
How come Noah died? How come Noah wasn't taken up?
He ain't walking off. He wasn't at that level. He had a little bit of evil in him.
Was it because he got drunk?
I don't know. Where does it say?
But if it goes out of the way to say you walked with God.
Oh, and then, so, I don't think did we mention about God saying, like, man's going to only live 120 years now?
Yeah.
And then it's like...
That was part of the Nephilim conversation.
Noah still lives to be 950. And then after him...
350 more years after the flood.
Yeah. And then after him, I think they... Do people after him still live a little bit long?
No.
Oh, yeah. Shem lived after he fathered... So Shem also lived 500 years or more. But I guess everyone born after the flood, maybe?
Well...
And no, whoever this guy is, Arpachshad lived after he fathered Shelah 403 years. So it's like a steady decline. And then eventually they get to
Well, the flood
mark.
The flood killed all the Nephilim, right? Oh, no, because they were
then-
there after the flood, too.
So one of
So
them
where did they
wives-
go during the flood? Were they just sitting on top of the ark?
Or is there Nephilim blood in one of the wives of the kids? Shem.
You
Ham.
think one of the Nephilim knocked
How
up
else?
Ham, Shem, or Japheth's
How
wife?
else? How else?
You think their wives cheated on them with Nephilim?
No. They are like daughters of the like they're part Nephilim maybe.
Oh, in the genealogy.
yeah.
Nephilim.
So like maybe like a couple of dads back there's Nephilim, and then a little more human than Nephilim, but it seemed I don't know
Because how would they be there
after
before and after? Unless they really were like demigods and
if
were
they
just,
were the fallen like angels.
they were just kind of like, we can fly, so
yeah.
the flood doesn't impact us, or they're sitting on top of the ark. But you're thinking like biologically.
Maybe.
That's
but
interesting.
it could definitely be if the translation is fallen ones. It's like okay, fallen angels.
They have to be. What else would fall? There's nothing.
Well, man, the fallen man. I don't know.
Yeah, but man is specifically designated different than the Nephilim.
Yeah, so it's either the
it's
sons of
not-
God
so it's
or
not man.
daughter of man.
So,
yeah,
so if you take man out of the equation, what else was fallen? Angels, right?
I guess. Yeah, never read that.
And
far
there were
yet.
sons of God. So God
It was like is Adam a son of God?
technically, but he was man. God created man.
I'm kind of thinking sons of God is like
So
Adam's
God,
line.
so God created all the
lineage.
angels too, because obviously there's no
Yeah.
Mrs. God, right?
Yeah,
Why is that?
no idea.
He wanted to live a stress-free life.
That is funny. But I really like the idea of, and I don't know if I believe it exactly, but I like the idea of like the environment back then was just better. And it's like, okay, now there's a flood. Now there's this curse. Things aren't as good anymore. So now their life expectancy is declining because they're getting further removed from what was originally good.
It makes sense because the Garden of Eden was paradise
Heaven.
created by God. Like God, literally God's garden.
Yeah.
Tons of fig trees. They had to have fig trees. I already know it.
Well, they had fig leaves, so there was
Yes.
at least a fig tree.
There you go. And I'm still fairly certain the Garden of Eden was on Earth.
I don't know.
It was physically on Earth.
I don't know.
No. You know because I'm telling you.
No.
If you
Then
looked it
where's
up
the
on
cherubim?
Wikipedia
Okay,
and it
and then-
said the Garden of Eden was on Earth, you'd believe it.
No.
And
I wouldn't.
Wikipedia is just like open to the public. So
I wouldn't believe it. Okay, so if everything we know about Eden, Garden of Eden is physical, and we're going to believe what it says.
okay.
God says, if you eat this, you will surely die. And there's like translations, it says like, you will die, or something like that. They didn't physically die, did they? Could they have like maybe spiritually died at that time?
No.
I don't know.
No, because God didn't like cut him off. He just kicked him out of the garden.
But he said, you'll surely die. If you eat this, you'll die. They ate it.
Maybe they was talking about like their perfection. Because now they're not perfect. That's dead. That's out the window. I still want to know what happened to the serpent.
He got crushed.
Yeah, you
Had
think he
to.
died? I
Had
think he's
to.
like still chilling in the
Where's
garden.
that say? He shall bruise your head and you shall bruise his heel.
Doesn't give us much to go on.
It does, yeah. It's a little bruise.
It sounded better like
like
in
the
my head
strike
like,
and the...
before we read it. Because there was one where like you say you crushed his head with the heel or something like that somewhere in there. I don't know. Anything else about Noah?
I don't think so. You want to hit up the Tower of Babel? We didn't read it I don't know if there's anything there.
Not right now. We're out of time.
Compared to other stuff, we got time. Because it's... Maybe.
Is this going to be long?
No.
I'm getting so tired.
We're gonna have to address the Tower of Babel in another one because that one that's probably gonna
It's
get
only this
into
long.
it's probably gonna get into a debate.
What would the debate be?
You have a way of like
I don't know
just
what the debate...
bringing us into the conversation anyway.
I don't know
But
what,
like
I
no,
don't know
let's
what
not
the
talk.
debate would
Let's
be.
not talk about that because we're gonna.
Well, I can't
it's
think of
gonna
how
end.
it would be a debate. It says there's a tower. They're building a tower. They're coming together.
Fine, let's
They
talk
all
about
have the
Tower of
same
Babel. Let's-
language.
all right, rip the Band-Aid off. Let's do it. There's a Tower of Babel.
I'm the one that's going to regret it, having to add on editing time.
The people wanted to build a tower to heaven.
Build a city and a tower to the top of the heavens, make a name for themselves. Like they want to do this for themselves. And God walks around. I don't know the exact wordings. Behold, there are one people and they are one language, and this is only the beginning of what they will do, and nothing that they propose to do will now be impossible for them. Come, let us go down, and they're confused. There's a typo in my Bible.
So people.
It says, let us go down, and they're confused their language. It's literally a typo, right?
That's not a typo.
Let us go down, and they're confused their language.
Yes, and they're confused their language.
I was so confused for a second. Trying to read fast.
Bro,
Because like trying to come down,
I
go
like
down there.
how right away you go to there's a typo in the Bible rather than you're just reading this.
It's a man-made printed thing.
No,
Because I'm like, let's go down there.
do you know how many zillions of scholars and people have tried to prove the Bible wrong and find errors in it, and it is foolproof? And then here's Johnny. Oh, there's a typo in my Bible.
There could definitely be typos.
I couldn't possibly be reading this sentence wrong.
Yeah.
So the people are trying to build this tower, this tower to the heavens for their own gratification.
Yeah.
God actually says they're of one language and one mind, so they can accomplish anything, which is kind of interesting because
Very interesting.
Because it just proves like the power of people. If you're
What were they doing back then?
working together, they have a common goal, and you all
Like, you think
speak
we're
the same
doing more?
language.
You think we're doing more than they were here?
What do you mean?
If they're gonna be able to do anything, and now we can communicate. Now we have translators. We have
It's not the
skyscrapers.
same. We have skyscrapers, yeah.
We make a name for ourselves. Is that where wars come in?
I think the point.
Is that where wars come in? God's like, I got to start a war somehow.
I don't think God
I
started
don't,
the wars.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But
It-
you don't think we're capable of what they were
It
capable
shows.
of?
I think we are. If a group of people have a like mind with a the same goal,
Yeah.
and they speak the same language, so that all the instructions and everything
Crystal
are
clear.
clear,
Yeah.
people can accomplish anything.
Yeah.
That's what I take out of that section in chapter 11.
So you take it as a positive. We can do anything if we come together.
I take it as a positive, but then
So you're on the opposite side of God. That's what you're saying.
negative. God comes down because they're doing it for themselves.
For themselves. They want to...
That's why he
Yeah.
messes it up
Yeah.
and starts
Like they want to be gods themselves, basically, is what it seems like.
So he goes and he scrambles them all up and gives them all different languages.
Yeah.
Which I can tell you from firsthand experience, it is very difficult to work on a project.
Yeah.
When you and the people you're working with speak completely different languages.
Yeah.
I've had like plants and factories, like manufacturing plants, and we're doing, running piping and putting in utilities, and the crew is 100% Spanish speaking, which I've always wanted to learn how to speak Spanish, and I still do.
I wish,
because it drives me crazy.
All I know is bonita.
Because I love it. I want to learn it, but this entire crew didn't speak a lick of English, 100% Spanish, and we had to use. Thankfully, we had cell phones because we
Google Translate.
They had a paid version of Google Translate, which was a lot better because they would push the button and they would go, and then they would show me and it would be like perfect English. And I'm like, okay, and then I would speak back into their phone and it would convert it right back.
Yeah,
and then like, okay.
Even then though, it's not exact. I'm sure there's still like little tweaks that are like, oh, it's a little different.
It's tough because like Spanish doesn't have words for everything, especially when you're building a plant. How do you say in Spanish, core drill this CMU wall and run the pipe through and connect it on the other side?
Yeah.
Spanish doesn't have words for that, and even the English language is terrible. Like we make up stuff all the time. Kids now don't even speak English.
It's funny how it's confused language, and so the way I think of Spanish, so we have adjective noun, and Spanish it's noun adjective.
Yeah, it's almost backwards.
So it's flip.
It's backwards.
So it's we're gonna confuse it by just switching them around.
Yeah, that would definitely do it.
Yeah. So what did you think we would debate about?
I figured you'd.
I had something pre-planned.
You probably. I thought you had something cooked up.
No, I didn't. I was just
conspiracy theory?
No, I don't think so. I didn't think of anything. But I just figured if we're going into Abram, I was like, we'll just do that, and then we'll jump into Abraham next time.
Yeah. But basically, this separation of languages is what created our different nations, right?
Because he disperses the people too.
Because everybody disperses to different regions. I think it even says Ham went to the east, Shem went to the west, Japheth went somewhere.
Yeah.
It actually says, and then they created these cultures and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where our different races, nationalities, languages, all that derived from. So if
you think races came from there, or just over time?
Because maybe over time, but if you go into different regions, you're with different people,
different sun exposure.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff. But if you think about it that way, if that's true. Assuming that's true, if they hadn't tried to build the Tower of Babel,
we'd one language.
We would all be one language, one people?
And we would be capable of cool things.
Cooler things? Like pyramids?
That's interesting.
So how do you think that compares to the pyramids? If God wasn't the pyramids weren't obviously a point of concern. And they're pretty amazing marvels of work.
Yeah.
It doesn't give any dimensions of the Tower of Babel. It just says to the heavens.
Yeah. Let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone and bitumen for mortar.
I wonder how tall they got it before the project ended.
Could they they're maybe skyscraper level, but it's they could go more. He's no more.
It's hard for me to picture something.
And then when did this tower
skyscraper level in biblical times? But again, Jericho. These huge castles and castle walls. Castles aren't small.
Yeah. So did they build the tower and they just abandoned that project? Dispersion, so that tower's just there.
There's 2 guys left that speak the same language, and they're I'm not building this. Everybody left. All the workers left.
Yeah. Or they repurposed that building, or they just abandoned it. Done with that. Or it was part of the dispersing.
Maybe they turned it into apartments and rented it out.
But they all dispersed, so they wouldn't live there. I don't know.
If you put in the work, if it got to the point where it was an area of concern, which means it was pretty well along in the project,
maybe
you probably have a structure that you can do something with. Unless God shut it down early, just knowing that their intent and their capability.
So was the tower already built, or they were mid-project? Because it does say...
I think they were mid-project.
Because it says, the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of man had built.
Oh, maybe it was done.
How well do they think they built it? I want to know how long it
Now
lasted.
I'm not as impressed.
So they got to the heavens. They're like, yeah, look at us. We're in the heavens.
How'd they get up there? Was it a staircase?
I don't know. And where's the heavens? Where did
They
it begin?
didn't have an elevator.
Where did the heavens begin and end?
Once they hit the water, they knew that they were...
I think the water's gone.
Who knows? Gets evaporated.
Man, I wish I had something to debate. That would have been fun. But I would have saved it for another time because it would have gone too long.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Noah? Yeah, we already talked about him.
No, I don't think so.
No, I'm good.
Oh, we didn't have like the bowl of animal crackers.
We were going to have little bowls of animal
Should have had the
crackers.
bowl. I probably would have ate them.
We could have sacrificed some.
Yeah, that would have been fun. We could have like played with
The
little
clean
animals.
ones? Yeah. I'll drop a couple on the floor. We could separate clean from dirty.
Yeah,
Well,
they're all clean enough for me.
God said take 7. 7 of the clean ones. 7 of each clean one.
Yeah. No, this was pretty good. I'm not a sweets guy. I liked it.
It really... It didn't hit the
And
orange
the dough
creamsicle.
was my favorite.
The marshmallow stuffed dough is legit.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good. It's sweet. It's soft. It's a beautiful thing. This didn't hit the orange creamsicle flavor as
Like what you wanted.
as accurately as I pictured, but it's good. I would probably give this one an 8.2, only because it's sticky.
It's very sticky.
If it wasn't as sticky, then
I could see
I
it
would
on.
probably
yeah,
you
on
could
the other
see
side.
Look at that.
exactly.
That's gross.
It's terrible, but if
I think I'm just cleaner than you.
Whoops. I'm just cleaner than you.
Maybe.
Spill it everywhere.
I'd give it like 7-9.
7.9.
I'm not a sweets guy, so it's biased because I'm just like, whatever. Yeah.
All right, out of the sweet pizzas that we've had 3 so far. This one, the pizza of many colors, and the caramel apple. Which one is your favorite?
This one's the favorite.
This one's favorite.
The apple has potential to be my favorite. I'm a big apple guy.
The caramel apple
love
one
apple.
tasted great.
Yeah.
The teeth didn't like it.
No.
So we'll have to redo
I was
that one.
reminded of that one when you said you're like my fingers are wrecked, and it made me think of my teeth are wrecked.
Yeah.
Teeth are jacked.
Yeah. We're going to redo that one. We're going to get redemption on that one at some point.
If only there was like a redemptive theme in the Bible. That would be cool.
I know.
But no,
Well,
we just
we'll-
wipe them all instead of redeeming them.
We'll keep reading. Maybe we'll find it.
But yeah, it was fun. Good
Awesome.
pizza, good talk.
Great talk. Real talk. Pizza podcast.
Podcast over.
Podcast over.
Oh wait, that's your line.
Yeah, you stealing my line.
Blah, I want to eat that poop stick. Podcast over.